is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 9, Text 18, translation. The great sage Maitreya continued, My dear Vidura, when Dhruva Maharaj, who had good intentions in his heart, finished his prayer, the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, who is very kind to his devotees and servants, congratulated him, speaking as follows. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Vedaham Te Vyavasitam Hriti Rajanya Balaka Tat Prayachami Badram Te Durapama Suvrata. The personality of God has said, My dear Dhruva, son of the king, you have executed pious vows, and I also know the desire within your heart. Although your desire is very ambitious and very difficult to fulfill, still I shall favor you with its fulfillment. All good fortune unto you. Purport. The Lord is so merciful to his devotee that he immediately said to Dhruva Maharaj, Let there be all good fortune for you. The fact is that Dhruva Maharaj was very much afraid in his mind, for he had aspired after material benefit in discharging his devotional service, and this was hampering him from reaching the stage of love of God. In the Bhagavad Gita 2.44 it is said, Bhoga Ishvarya Prasaktanam, who knows the rest? Taya Pahita Chetasam Yavasayatmika Those who are addicted to material pleasure cannot be attracted to devotional service. It was true that at heart Dhruva Maharaj wanted a kingdom that should be far better than Brahma Loka. This was a natural desire for a Kshatriya. Amazing desire. He was also only 5 years old, and in his childish way he desired to have a kingdom far greater than his father's, grandfathers or great-grandfathers. His father Uttanapada was the son of Manu, and Manu was the son of Lord Brahma. Dhruva wanted to excel all these great family members. The Lord, however, knew Dhruva Maharaj's childish ambition, but at the same time, how was it possible to offer him a position more exalted than Lord Brahma's? The Lord assured Dhruva Maharaj that he would not be bereft of his love. He encouraged Dhruva not to be worried that he childishly had material desires, and at the same time had a pure aspiration to be a great devotee. Generally, the Lord does not award a pure devotee material opulence, even though he may desire it. But Dhruva Maharaj's case was different. The Lord knew that he was such a great devotee that in spite of having material opulence, he would never be deviated from love of God. This example illustrates that a highly qualified devotee can have the facility of material enjoyment and at the same time execute love of God. This, however, is a special case for Dhruva Maharaj. So, this is like dream of many devotees. To have it all, to have both material enjoyment and spiritual advancement. And here, where is this? Very important sentence. I cannot find it, but I remember it. That the Lord said, "Don't worry, you will not be devoid of my love." So actually, here is a nice example. Devotees have some material desires or some desires for material enjoyment, but they are afraid of their material desires. Of course, some are not afraid. But Dhruva was so, I would say, refined personality or sophisticated personality, that although he had this desire, he was afraid, and he was afraid that he will be, how you say, devoid of Lord's love. And we just read it here, and I can find it. Oh yes, the second paragraph. The Lord assured Dhruva Maharaj that he would not be bereft of his love. So we may think that if I have material desires, the Lord will not love me. He will reject me. But here it is said that Srila Prabhupada says that the Lord assured Dhruva Maharaj that this will not happen. So even if someone is faulty in such a way, if someone has, as we say, wrong desires, then the Lord doesn't reject us. We have a tendency to reject people, the people that we don't like, or the people that are doing something wrong, or to judge them. And but Krishna never rejects anyone. He always is giving a chance. So we also don't have a right to reject anyone. But it doesn't mean that you should unlimitedly tolerate all kinds of behavior, disturbing behavior, or insulting behavior of people. But within your heart, you don't hold a grudge. You don't hate them. You just know that they are under the modes of nature, and that you shouldn't just tolerate this behavior, but you should react and tell them, look, this is not good, sorry. But we don't hate them, we're not envious of the people who may be envious of us. And as soon as they, reform or correct themselves, then we again will accept them, and because we don't have a right to reject anyone. If God doesn't reject anyone, then we also don't have a right to reject anyone. Because we are supposed to be instruments in Lord's hands, we are supposed to be representatives of God. Sometimes people think, they say, I am a Brahman, I will curse you. But this is not very much in the Vaishnava mood. Vaishnava doesn't think like this. So this story is a great lesson and a great hope for us, because someone who had a material desire, and most of us unfortunately still have them, had a hope, and he was guided by his guru, Narada Muni. He was guided in such a way that gradually he actually forgot about. He lost a taste. And there is one important thing here. It's called good intentions in the heart. Good intentions in the heart. So most devotees, they have good intentions, and they also have an intention to attain pure love of God, but still there is this, from the past there are desires to enjoy the material world in different ways, to have different material comforts, and this is like schizophrenia. It's like a split personality. You are simultaneously a devotee and a demon. And you may say, demon, I'm not a demon. I don't have horns. I don't have this eye teeth. But these material desires are demoniac. These are not divine desires to enjoy material body, to enjoy material facility, material relationships, whatever. One can enjoy fame. And practically, probably, until the end of this body, we will have this struggle. Maya or Krishna, Maya or Krishna. And every moment of the day, you have an opportunity to choose how you will spend your time. You have an opportunity to choose whether you will be in Maya or you will be Krishna conscious. And Krishna is watching you. And sometimes you think, devotees are not seeing me, so I can be a little bit in Maya. But Krishna is watching you, Krishna is in your heart. And you can say, Krishna, sorry, but please help me to always choose you, except and not choose Maya. So Dhruva Maharaj was 5 years old, but he was such a strong-minded person. And, he was very clear what he wants. Nowadays, if you go to a success seminar, they teach you, first get very clear about what you want. Then you can go for it. And as I mentioned the other day, they say, find your purpose. What is your purpose? Find your purpose. Achieve your goals. It's all about you. But actually, it's not about you. How can you find your purpose when you didn't create yourself? How can you choose your purpose when you didn't create yourself? To discover what is your purpose, you have to go to a creator who has created you and ask him, what is my purpose? And this is what Prabhupada has done. He has told us that our purpose is to serve the one who has created us for his purposes. But we rebelled, we left. So it's not easy to swallow the fact that it's not about us. In the material world, everybody is trying to put themselves in the center, in one way or the other. Or maybe there is extended selfishness. My family, my country. Like Donald Trump, he wants to make America great, but by his dealings, he's making himself smaller and smaller. When people are confused or hate him, or they want to expose him as a cheater, he doesn't pay taxes, and so many faults. They want to find a lot of faults, and they want somebody else. And then we see in the history of politics that when one leader replaces the other, he's more or less the same or the worse. But people are always hoping that a new leader will be better. And we know that a new leader will never be better if he is not God conscious, if he is not Krishna conscious. And therefore Tulsi Gabbard, which is unfortunately not in ISKCON, she's running for a president of United States. You know that? So I don't know what ISKCON will think. ISKCON leaders that, a devotee is becoming a president of the United States, but it's not from ISKCON. So it will be a little bit like a blow. And then also, she could be a first woman president, because Hillary didn't make it. Hillary Clinton didn't make it. She almost made it. And anything is possible with Krishna. So imagine this. And she's publicly declaring her Hindu faith, or Vaishnava faith, and preaching and wearing garlands. So maybe she will be the first Krishna conscious leader. And of course, I hope she's reading Prabhupada's books. I believe she does, because on Prabhupada Vyasa Puja she glorified him. And then try to implement what Prabhupada said that politicians should do. So let us go back to Dhruva Maharaj and our own situation. Let us not aim too high for the position of the President of the United States yet. We can wait a little bit. And so we have a new generation coming, young people, and we have no idea who they are. They are born in Vaishnava families, and sometimes they don't want to chant japa, but they are crazy about kirtan. I was just in Radhadesh, and so there is Manu Prabhu, he is an organizer. He worked so hard for a long time to organize Radhadesh Melas, and running so much around to keep everything going during these 4 days. And I wrote him, can I register? And anybody can register, and it's, get free prasadam. You just have to register. You have to find your accommodation, because it's not easy to find accommodation, because there is like more than 1,000 devotees. So I wrote him and said, Prabhu, can I sing? Can I lead maybe one kirtan, or half an hour, or 1 hour, or whatever? And he said, this is for the young generation. It's not, and only Satyananda Swami and maybe Madhava, but mainly young generation is leading. This is their festival, sorry. And so many want to lead kirtan, devotees who are not second generation, who are older, and it will not be possible. So when I came there, there was first evening, actually the day before the festival starts, and some young people were coming in with some instruments. When they started to sing, I said, now I understand why I'm not leading. Because these people sing so amazingly. They have so much devotion that the Radhadesh temple is shaking. And I think the deities are dancing. It was so beautiful. So beautiful. And also later some kirtans. I didn't go to every kirtan, but some kirtans were so phenomenal, so amazing. I think it's not the first life that they are practicing Krishna consciousness. Why I'm saying this? Because our hope, Prabhupada said that children are our future. So our hope is that these devotees who have such an amazing taste for kirtan and such an amazing shakti to lead kirtan, they can become future leaders. They can become future leaders of the society and lead people in a spiritual direction. And Dhruva Maharaj also, he became a leader and became the Lord of the planet. And of course he was leading based on the spiritual principles. And every one of us, more or less, is in the leadership position. Even if you don't have anybody to lead, you have to lead yourself and show by example to others. And that's leadership, when you just show by example how to live, how to follow the principles, chant 16 rounds, engage in devotional service 24 hours a day, and encourage people to engage their talents, to somehow connect, or as Srila Prabhupada says, dovetail. You know what dovetail means? Anybody knows? Dovetail? What it means? It's like it's carpenter phrase. Yeah, you know? Yes. Yeah, like this. This is dovetail. So in my language there is this word, uklopiti. I don't know in German how you say it. this. When you do this, when you make a table, you want to do this with two wooden parts. That's called dovetail. Srila Prabhupada uses this phrase, dovetail. So dovetail everything in Krishna consciousness, connect everything, and like 99% of the things can be dovetailed in Krishna consciousness. And this is also part of leadership, not to discourage people to engage in activities, but to encourage them to engage in activities in the spirit of devotion and show by our own example how to do this. And Srila Prabhupada in his letters encourage leaders to engage people as they like to be engaged, to engage people in harmony with their talents and with their natural inclinations. Then later maybe they can be ready to do anything for Krishna, but in the beginning they can be engaged according to their inclinations. That's also part of the Varnashrama. Engage them according to their inclinations. So when sometimes people leave because they don't see a hope that they will ever do something that is more inspiring for them. So they say, I'm always washing pots and I will always wash pots. So I will go somewhere where I can recite poetry, or where I can paint, or where I can sing. And as we see, the reality of our lives is that life is always a combination of doing the needful and doing what we like to do. And then there should be a balance between these two things. Nobody can do 100% of the time what they like to do. We also need to sometimes to do things that are needful. But neither extreme is good. So it's our own responsibility to find this balance. And if you have many things to do that are needful, you also need to find time to do something that really inspires you. Maybe you like to play mridanga, so you find time to practice mridanga. I hear every day practice of mridanga in my room. I don't know where is that room where somebody is practicing mridanga. Upstairs. Okay. So you can do the needful, but you also can do something that inspires you. And it's also very important, if we speak of Varnashram, if we speak about staying in Krishna consciousness inspired for a long time or for your whole life, what we sometimes neglect in Krishna consciousness is expression. We don't express our feelings because we are afraid we will be judged, and sometimes we are judged very, very harshly if we express our feelings or our doubts, or sometimes maybe we are a little critical or angry. Expression or artistic expression, we want to express something artistically, but we are not sure if it's bona fide or if it will be appreciated by devotees. So we are afraid that somebody will shut us down, or like this, just reject what we want to do, what we offer. So we need to create space for devotees to express themselves for example, their feelings, how they feel about things. Even sometimes their feelings or their thoughts come from the false ego. Still, they need to express it so that they can also see it more clearly, and we shouldn't be disturbed by this, and we should not attack them and judge them, but we should help them to see all these things in their real light, and then judge for themselves. What is the value of your criticism? What is the value of your doubts? Are your doubts founded on something solid, or maybe they are not so solid? But when people speak, they can hear their thoughts and they can understand better how they think. We always speak about listening to people and understanding them. But actually more important is to help people to understand themselves and how they think than our own understanding of them. We speak about empathy. We speak about empathy. Yes, we should understand people, we should be empathic. But it's important to help them to understand themselves. What do you want? And what will you do about it? Practically there is two questions that cover our whole life. These two questions. What do you want? And what will you do about it? All other questions are details. So if you want to counsel people or help them think, which is not the same, helping someone think, then you need to learn to listen to ignite, not to listen to respond. Now this is revolution. How many of you, when you listen to respond? 50 hands go up.
I didn't understand the question.
There is 5 devotees here. Huh?
I didn't understand the
Didn't
question.
catch the question.
When you listen, do you listen to respond or you listen to stimulate their thinking? So, do you listen to respond? Of course, everybody listens to respond, but that is wrong. I'm joking, it's not wrong. It's just the usual way of listening. You're listening to respond. But you can listen with the idea to stimulate their thinking. We will speak today about this 5 to 7. We have mentor meeting. How many of you will come? Okay.
So,
Mentorship meeting. We will speak about this. Have you noticed that in our movement or in our process, people lose their mind? How many of you have noticed this? People lose themselves.
When I didn't catch it when you listened to the car.
Have you noticed that in our movement or in our process, sometimes people lose themselves or they lose their mind? You lose their ability to think independently. Srila Prabhupada says, independently thoughtful people. We want to train independently thoughtful people. And then they say, yes, I'm independently thoughtful, I don't follow the GBC. This is not what independently thoughtful means. I also stopped following my guru. Some people have rebelled from their guru because they don't like his style of preaching. So what does it mean to think for yourself? Somebody, senior devotee comes, very strong mind, and they brainwash you, and you think, wow, they are right. What they say is amazing. I become a blind follower. And then after some time you start feeling, let me see, wait a minute, is this me? You know? Is this me thinking? And after some time you see, oh, well, I have lost my ability to think. I have lost my mind a little bit by being influenced by others who have a stronger mind. So what does it mean to think for yourself? What do you think? Yeah?
I would say even if they are high elevated, just to question oneself if this is with the Shastra. I mean, if someone, for example, with devotees, we're talking, even if it sounds good, correct, but this is, say, it's on the Shastra, what they say, or it's just what they think or what they got from other sources.
Okay, but I'm asking, what do you think? What does it mean to think for yourself?
For example, follow the instructions, but how you can manage it on your platform like that. For example, if Sina says, okay, you have to do that, and that. So, but not always you can follow that because you have a different stage. So you have to find your own stage where you are, for example, and what is your point of view, like that,
Mm-hmm.
and then like that. Or reflect these things on your own.
Do you consider yourself to be a blind follower?
Sometimes yes.
Okay. Sometimes when we follow blindly, then we burn our fingers. And then we regret it. We say, oh my God, I shouldn't have followed so blindly someone who was wrong. And other times we become too liberal, too independent, then we don't want to follow obvious things just because we don't like someone maybe or whatever. Obvious things that we should follow. So these are extremes that we go into. But maybe, I don't know if you have had this experience, but in the early days we had this kind of preaching, don't speculate. So that may mean don't think. So you shut up your thinking. They say don't speculate. But I liked, when I was a Bhakta leader or whatever, TP, I always like to explain to devotee that why something should be done. If they don't understand, or maybe they have a better idea. Because if they understand why something should be done, they can peacefully do it. But if I tell them don't speculate and I have no time to explain, then they are confused. And it's not my job to leave anyone confused. My job is to help everyone become free from confusion and become clear about what should be done and what should not be done. This is one very important aspect of leadership, removing confusion. But people are impatient. Because of their impatience, they want to be efficient and they have no patience to explain. But long term, it saves time. And more important than time, it saves people. Because people may leave because you didn't appreciate their thinking. You didn't appreciate their mind. You didn't appreciate their intelligence. And you didn't appreciate their personality. And Prabhupada also would say, what do you think? He would say something and then he would say, what do you think? He wanted his disciples to think. He wanted his disciples to use their intelligence. And therefore I say one of the most powerful success principles is Uyi. What is Uyi? Uyi. U-Y-I. What does it mean? U-Y-I? Uyi. U-Y-I means use your intelligence. Use your intelligence. How can I do this? If you come to me and you say, oh, Akrura, how can I do this? Can you give me advice? And then I say, but have you thought about it? Oh no, you're more experienced, you have more knowledge, you're a senior, I came to you. But do you think you have some intelligence to think? Well, yes, but it will be faster. And there is many reasons why they don't want to think. And then I say, now it's a great opportunity for you to think, and I will be here with you. You think on paper. Write down 20 ideas how you can do this. So they want to give their monkey to you, to put on your shoulder. And you are expert in giving the monkey back. So this is your monkey. You take care of your monkey. So you think, and you come to me with your 20 great ideas. And when they come back to you, you don't have to give them advice because they have better ideas than you ever could possibly come up with. Why? Because also the super soul is in their heart. So you believe in their intelligence because they also have unlimited source of intelligence in their heart, and whatever is their mode of nature, whatever is their conditioning, still the Lord can give them unlimited intelligence. And when it comes from them, it's much more powerful. And we will speak about this today also. It's much more powerful when it comes from them. Now you have to renounce something that you really like to do, and that is preaching. So now I'm telling you not to preach. It's bogus. Maybe, huh?
Different kind of preaching.
Stop preaching. Stop talking. I like talking so much. But I'm speaking about one-to-one. Okay, you can sit and talk. I will also listen. But preaching, because your interruption stifles their thinking. How many of you like to end other people's sentences? Who is very good at that? Damian is very honest. Not only Damian, all of us. We like to end other people's sentences. Why? Because it saves time. We also show a little bit our brilliance. We show that we are fast thinker, that our intelligence is very efficient. And we want to help them. So all of us have this syndrome which is called Jesus. That means Savior. Savior syndrome. So we want to save people. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what is wrong about this is that you don't help them grow if you jump in. Yeah. You know the story about the boy who was helping a caterpillar to get out of cocoon? Well, the caterpillar was trying to get out of the cocoon and to become a butterfly, and this boy saw and said, "Oh, he's struggling so much, let me open it." But actually the natural process of struggling is there to help them develop their wings and to fly. But if you help them, actually you are not doing them a favor, because they will not develop their wings and some chemicals will not enter. And this caterpillar was not able to fly for life because of the help. So think, when you are helping people, am I really helping them, or I am stifling their growth and progress by helping them? That is a very important consideration. So Mahatma Prabhu, he's a Diksha Guru in ISKCON and also a preacher, Prabhupada disciple from Alachua, Florida. He has this motto on his website: helping devotees to help themselves. Helping devotees to help themselves. And so we want devotees to become strong by helping them to develop their mental muscles, emotional muscles, spiritual muscles, to help them to think for themselves, and actually to help them in the best possible way by not helping them. The best help is no help. But being there and helping them to grow by being present, asking them some questions, stimulating their own thinking and their own growth, but not holding them in our arms or on our backs. And this is also the way how you will be protected from millions of problems of millions of people that will approach you for help. Because you understand that their problems are their opportunities for growth, not mine. And I'm here to show them this. You have someone with a problem. The other day, this lady who comes here told me, I'm going to lose my 2 flats. The government wants to take it away from me and I will be on the street because I cannot pay. And she cannot work, she has some difficulties. And the tenants, she rented 1 flat, the tenants don't pay her, they think she is weak and she cannot fight against this abuse. So, so we need to help her somehow if she is part of this community. So we have to see how to do that. But this is not an accident in her life. She needs to learn something from this situation where she is almost now on the street. She will be on the street very soon. And then I told her a couple of things, what she can do. She could not, she was very, very, very confused. She was not able to. I couldn't tell her write down 20 ideas. That was not an option in this situation. She also had some difficulties. So, when you help people to solve their own problems, there may be exceptional situations, but mainly, even if you help someone for some time, you're always looking for the next opportunity to empower them or to help them deal with their own problems. Even maybe some emergency can be there, emergency help when they are extremely weak or something. That's fine, but then you're looking for the next opportunity. So, for example, people come to me and say, "Oh, can you give me some money?" And I say, "Sure." Next time they come, "Oh, can you give me some money?" I say, "No. Now I will teach you how to make money." And I tell them this great secret of wealth is that if you want to get money, you have to work. They say, "Oh my God, I don't want to work with karmis." Well, if you don't want to work with karmis and with devotees there is no job, then you will have to starve, sorry. Starve, die out of hunger. Bhagavad Gita says everybody has to work. And Bhagavad Gita doesn't say you should never work with karmis. Bhagavad Gita says work in the factory and give 150% of your salary for the mission. Engage it in Krishna service. and he says, and Bhagavad Gita says, this is sannyas. This is sannyas. So what will help you to help people and to see them as strong, not as weak? See them as spirit souls, see them as strong. Then you can help them in the best possible way. Okay, thank you very much for listening. Do you have any questions? I like when people are exhausted at the end of the class. Where to start? Yeah. Yes?
I have one question. For me it's good to blindly follow the Bhagavad Gita. If Krishna said this, so, and even, Arjuna has doubt, but then his doubt was clear. Krishna says that from the highest planet down to the lowest planet there are places of misery, so I don't know because I don't remember that I was everywhere, but I just blindly follow what he says in this.
So what is your question?
It's maybe sometimes good to blindly follow if you don't know.
Prabhupada said, I'm blindly following my Guru Maharaj.
Yes.
So he had faith in his Guru. When you are convinced that something is right, then you can follow, not blindly, but you follow wholeheartedly, with full heart. But never follow blindly. Never follow blindly. I mentioned this example on Sunday, that Guru told this disciple, he said, this is a secret mantra and it can benefit everybody including you, but you should not give it to everyone. And so the disciple said to himself, so why should I not give it to everyone? And his Guru was not bad, but I don't know why he told him not to share it. But he was thinking with his... So this is an example of independent thinking. What is this?
It's the door from the pujari room.
Okay. First time I hear this sound today. I'm here for 1 week. So this is an example. So blindly following, you may follow strictly, you may follow wholeheartedly, but never follow blindly. Although Prabhupada may say, I blindly follow, but it doesn't mean blindly following. You never stop thinking. You need to think. And you ask me how to distinguish between speculation and Krishna conscious thinking. So please.
Yes, you wrote me that if the thinking leads you to be, leads to Krishna conscious activities, and if it improves your Krishna consciousness, then it's good thinking. It's Krishna conscious thinking. But I mean, if it's if it doesn't lead to be better in Krishna conscious, then it's speculation.
If you take it leads you away from Krishna consciousness, yes, it's definitely speculation. Is that makes sense?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? Yes?
Yeah, the whole lecture was asking me because the different topics were, for me, always okay. What I have to do is to find the right balance. It's always like that. And
Between what?
Between everything.
That's true.
So, and can you give some advice or a tip how we can improve our balance, how to work on this?
For balance, you need to breathe deeply. And because when you have more oxygen in your brain, your thinking will be of a higher quality. Breathe deeply and also ask yourself excellent questions. How can I balance between being soft and hard, strict and gentle? Whatever you want to balance, you ask yourself. And then think. You ask yourself a question and then give it your best thinking. And also you may venture into this exquisite activity of praying to the Lord in your heart to give you intelligence. How to balance. Because He is ready to guide us. He is ready to guide us. And also it is said that the Holy Name is our mentor and guide. So if we chant, we might actually get a clear intelligence about something. So you need to expand your intelligence. That's the third principle. Ask excellent questions, principle 1. Expand your intelligence, principle 2.
This part I missed.
Which one?
Expand your intelligence.
Yeah, you need to expand your intelligence. And it's a very exciting activity. It doesn't mean our head becomes bigger. But it means our thinking becomes broader. Our thinking becomes broader. And you can always ask people. If you ask me, I will be happy to ask you back. What do you think? You say, I was trying to think about this, but didn't go very far. Then I tell you, okay, now think more deeply. And then you really try to think, and you come up with better ideas how to do it. And I highly recommend think on paper. Writing down your thoughts is a great crystallizer of thoughts. And a great improver of thinking. So write down your thoughts. Sometimes you may share it with someone. What do you think about this? And they say, wow, it's genius. Or they say, it's crap. If you are bold to share and to expose yourself to give to others, and they say, what do you think? I sometimes write something and then I get amazing angles from people. They also get very angry. Because you can interpret it like this. There was something recently, somebody little bit misquoted me, maybe not a very good translation about what I said. not misquoted, but not very good translation, so it sounded a little bit extreme. I was making comments about depression, and some people get so hurt when you undermine depression. Maybe they are attached to depression, to their own depression. It means to them a lot, or maybe it hurt them a lot. And there is clinical depression, which I cannot comment on, but there is also a depression of self-sabotage, where you indulge in depression. You understand? Indulging. And I made a comment, and then some people saw it as an extreme, horrible, rude statement, and it wasn't. It wasn't at all. But they didn't hear me speaking it, how I said it, and what exactly I said, and you can interpret one thing. So when you why I'm saying this, when you share with others your thoughts, which are in written form, you can get different angles, and you can be careful what you write, because people may misinterpret it, or you may be asked to explain it. So we need to be careful how we communicate, whatever we think like this. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.